Hey guys, what's up? This is Monday of week 4. Hopefully you guys are all doing okay and are ready to tackle another week. Remember, bring that Monday fire because today we've got a benchmark WOD in bar bra. And I've got a couple of new ways to spice up your pull-ups if you don't have a pull-up bar at home. So let's go ahead and get into the warm-up for today. Bar bra, as you'll read about and we'll go over the movements of those, is a very gymnastics-focused workout. So we're doing all body weight movements for today. So keep that in mind if you're somebody who's maybe a little bit newer and hasn't done a lot of these body weight movements. We're going to definitely want to look at scaling because there's quite a few rounds involved in bar bra for today. So the warm up that we're going to get started with is your choice of a 400-meter run, or we could do 3 minutes of jump ropes or 3 minutes of jumping jacks. So something that's going to get our heart rate up and going there. And then we're going to go through 15 of most of these, and this is going to help us get warmed up for squats, sit-ups, so forth, all of those gymnastics movements involved in bar bra. So we're going to do 15 weighted thrusters, followed by 15 burpee kickouts, 15 hollow rocks, which would really help if we were doing pull-ups on an actual pull-up bar, but either way, it'll help engage our core for bar bra today. And then 5 plank twists per side. And then we'll talk about some unique ways that we can implement maybe some new resources to do our WOD today and build up some reps of each of those. So let's get started reviewing each of those movements for the warm-up today, starting with the weighted thrusters. You guys can find a backpack or some other sort of weight. Keep that in front. Start to warm up your good squat position for the thrusters. So I'm working on going below parallel, opening my hips, and at the same time I'm opening my hips, I'm pressing out for the thruster. So we're going to do 15 thrusters, weighted, followed by 15 burpee kickouts. So I'm going to go down to my burpee, but I'm not going to go all the way down to the bottom of the ground. I'm just going to kick my feet out behind me, up, and then to a clapping position. So just a burpee kick out. Hollow rocks are going to be done on the floor. I'm not going to engage my core, as you can see. Probably you know why. But a hollow rock is I'm going to have both of my hands over my head, and I'm going to exhale a breath, and I should feel my rib cage tuck in a little bit, and I'm going to try to rock myself back and forth. Now, if you remember, if we were together at the gym, I would recommend that only your lower back is touching. So your shoulders shouldn't be touching and your legs should be off the ground. So you're really just engaging your core. If the 15 hollow rocks are tough, remember you can tuck a knee in or tuck both legs in and do a variation of hollow rocks. But there's 15 of those programmed for your warm-up. The plank twists up to a side is holding that plank position, and when I'm down in the plank, I'm reaching up and I'm twisting towards the sky. That's 5 per side that you guys are going to do. So take time to get that big thoracic reach up towards the ceiling. You're going to do 5 per side or 10 total for those. So let's pause for a second and talk about the reps and the movements that we're going to do for bar bra. And then we'll practice going over those. So bar bra is 5 rounds for time. So pretty tough as far as rounds go. Lots of tough gymnastics movements. Per round, we've got 20 pull-ups, 30 push-ups, 40 sit-ups, and 50 air squats. So this is all without weight. And then after each round, you do get a 3-minute rest. So this is a great way to train for like Murph that's coming in May and things like that with these body weight movements. So you can really give it your best because there's a rest in between. However, with that being said, and I wrote some notes in Sugar WOD as well, you don't want to do this to the point where I'm super fatigued and I'm taking really long breaks because you're going to have a really long bar bra WOD, and then that's going to take away from the stimulus. So I'm going to recommend either you scale back if you're somebody who maybe hasn't done a lot of these body weight movements before, maybe go to 3 to 4 rounds, or pay attention to your timer, or if you're joining us for a Zoom session, I can help you with that. If you're going over 7 minutes, I would cut down your reps or your rounds each time that happens. So let's say round 1, you end up going 8 minutes. So don't do another 8-minute round. So maybe cut these down by 5 or 10 reps, or tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do 3 total rounds or 4 total rounds. And that's going to help you get the best stimulus out of Barbara. Our more advanced or elite athletes, they're going to be able to go through this in maybe 5 or 6 minutes, take advantage of that 3-minute rest, and be ready for the next round. So scale or modify appropriately for what you think is best. So let's talk about that first movement in pull-ups. So obviously if you have a pull-up bar, that's going to be key to use. Use that progression in hollow rocks. Take some time to build up maybe a kip swing and make sure you're getting that chin over your bar and your arm is fully extended. You could also sub out pull-ups for bent over weighted rows. So I could get something like a backpack, have a nice flat back, and I could be pulling these to my chest and fully extending. So maintaining that nice neutral spine. I could do weighted bent over rows. If you're kind of bored with those, because we've been subbing those a lot for some of our weighted movements in pull-ups as well, if you grab a towel and then find a nearby door frame and doorknob, I'm going to show you a way that you can get a little bit more of a stimulus using this, or if you have resistance bands, that would work too. So if I go over to a nearby door frame, I'm going to stretch out my towel and I'm going to slip it over the handles. So it's going to be tightly secured over the handles. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to slightly squat down and I'm going to pull my chest in close to the door frame, fully extend my arms, pull in towards the door frame, fully extend. And if I do those nice, slow, and controlled, I can really feel that pull-up motion, or like a strict pull-up motion that we would be getting from a pull-up bar. So that would be a great option as well if you want to use a towel or something like that instead of pull-ups. 30 push-ups, those could be scaled to knee push-ups. Remember, we're trying to touch our chest and our thighs all the way and fully extend in your push-ups. They do not have to be strict push-ups. Followed by sit-ups. So if you have something like maybe a pillow or an ab mat, use that for your sit-ups. We want to touch all the way behind our head and come up and touch our toes. And then lastly, squat. So make sure we're working on getting that hip all the way below parallel, and we're opening all the way at the top. But of course, we could sub out things like chair dips as well for push-ups. We can also squat to a target. That would be another good option, but that's 50 squats. That's a lot. That's your highest rep movement going through Barbara for Monday's WOD. When you guys are done with Barbara, you're probably going to feel pretty smoked. So it's mobility for your skill strength, where you're going to do things like across the body arm stretches. Grab your elbow, stretch the back of your arm, grab your toe, stretch your quads, and then a seated hamstring stretch and pigeon stretch and a Samson stretch. So I'll try to get those in here. You could grab that towel again if you wanted to and work on your hamstring mobility. So you can go right, left, and down the middle. Our pigeon stretch is we're going to take a leg and we're going to try to get that at a 90-degree angle. And then our back leg is trailing, so I really feel that over here in the side of my leg. And then our Samson stretches into a lunge, nice overhead stretch, side to side, and even forward and back from there. So it's a tough one. You guys can do it. Get back in the saddle for Monday, and good luck with Barbara. Thanks, guys.